James Garner was once the biggest TV star on the planet, thanks to his career-defining roles in the 1950s Western hit Maverick, and later in the 1970s as Jim Rockford, in what is arguably the greatest detective series of all time, the Rockford Files.
Who you working for?
Well, that's confidential. Larry Kirkhoff.
Both characters were very similar. Likeable, a little roguish, but ultimately someone who could be trusted to do the right thing.
I said I'd listen. I didn't say anything about helping.
His cinematic work, however, was far more varied.
The word is you are a cool cat.
Perhaps his best-known film role was as Hendley the Scrounger in the star-studded John Sturges classic The Great Escape.
Whoa. Wow.
Once again, his on-screen charm proved a real hit with audiences. But he also tackled grittier roles, most notably as Wyatt Earp in the 1967 sequel to the gunfight at the OK Corral, Hour of the Gun. A far cry from Maverick, Garner's portrayal of Earp was menacing, with none of the sardonic humour he was known for. In this incarnation, Earp is a man consumed by revenge for the death of his brothers, employing questionable tactics to gun down members of the Clanton gang. Around the same time, Garner also got to show off his legendary driving skills in John Frankenheimer's Grand Prix. The film was revolutionary for its groundbreaking racing cinematography, and Garner performed all of his racing scenes himself. At over 6'3", he was actually too tall for the Formula One cars, which had to be modified just for him. In his brilliantly frank and entertaining autobiography, The Garner Files, he revealed that working on Grand Prix was his most enjoyable film experience.
I want to be champion.
Everyone wants to be a champion, Aaron. There is no distinction in that.
A perfect fit for one of Hollywood's best-known petrolheads. And, of course, the man behind the famous Rockford Turn. The film was a hit with both fans and critics, though Garner's neighbour, Steve McQueen, was less enthusiastic.
Steve was originally slated to do that movie, but he couldn't get along with Frankenheimer. And so that lasted about 30 minutes, and Steve was out and I was in. I called him, and I said, Steve, I want to tell you before you hear it from somebody else that I'm going to do Grand Prix. He didn't talk to me for about a year and a half, and we were next-door neighbors.
Garner also delivered memorable performances alongside the legendary Julie Andrews in two cinematic gems, The Americanization of Emily in 1964 and Blake Edwards' Oscar-winning Victor Victoria in 1982. Both films were way ahead of their time in tackling bold subject matters. Victor Victoria addressed issues of gender and sexuality head-on, featuring prominent gay characters, set against the backdrop of 1930s Paris. A daring move back in 1982. Andrews plays a down-on-her-luck soprano who teams up with a gay cabaret singer played by Robert Preston to impersonate a male-female impersonator.
To a long and profitable relationship.
On opening night, her performance wins over both the Parisian audience and an American nightclub owner, King Marchand, played by Garner. That is until he discovers that she's actually a man. Or is she?
This is King Marchand.
How do you do?
How do you do? I gotta admit, for a while there, I was really cheesed off. King's tongue was hanging out a foot.
All the leading cast members received Oscar nominations, except for Garner, which is a shame, because he was terrific. Few other leading men at the time would have dared to take on the role, except perhaps Rock Hudson, who was navigating a similar situation in real life.
You know, queer.
Julie Andrews is of course delightful, showing off her remarkable 4-octave vocal range. Garner and Andrews worked together 3 times in their careers, including a TV movie called One Special Night.
Has anybody ever told you that you're a real pain in the ass?
But it was the Americanization of Emily that remained Garner's personal favourite. Set in London during the latter stages of World War II, the Americanization of Emily is a comedy drama, made in the same vein as a William Wyler classic. Funnily enough, he was the original director, but was let go as he had issues with the script and was replaced by Arthur Hill. Whether those issues were ideological is not clear, but the film courted controversy for its anti-war stance back in 1964.
This is my best friend, you Donny Witch, not the house detective. Now, just stand at attention while Commander Madison and I confer.
Oh, Charlie, ever since you're away all the time, I have to dig up my own girls.
Garner plays Lieutenant Commander Charlie Madison, a dog robber, an officer tasked with procuring luxury goods, liquor, and even female companionship for his admiral and senior officers.
Hi, Charlie.
Sheila, could you be a redhead by 5:30 this afternoon?
A stunning Andrews plays Emily, a widowed female driver, assigned to chauffeur Garner around the city as he hunts for wartime luxuries. Initially disapproving of Madison's antics, she inevitably falls for him.
What's your type, you know?
Like Ellie or not?
You know my squeaky clean image in Mary Poppins, so I thought, I don't even know how to do a love scene. I've never done a love scene on film. And I thought, well, does one kiss properly? Does one just peck? What does one do? And so we were rolling around, and 1 minute he was on top of me, and then I was on top of him, and then they did a different angle, and then and we're still on the bed, and we don't get up for the whole afternoon. And it was quite lovely, I have to say.
Their budding romance, however, faces a major obstacle when Madison and his fellow officer, Lieutenant Cummings, played by his Great Escape co-star James Coburn, are ordered on a virtual suicide mission.
I want a movie made that shows the Navy's contribution to D-Day, from the procurement of vessels to the actual landings.
Not surprisingly, the self-described coward Madison wants no part of it.
Sir, I get the feeling a man could get killed making this movie.
A lot of men are going to get killed on D-Day, Charlie.
Garner himself was a twice-decorated Purple Heart recipient from his service in Korea. But as he later revealed in the Garner Files, he wasn't one to brag about his heroics. His portrayal of Madison isn't far from his own anti-war sentiments, which the film boldly critiques.
What are your religious views?
I'm a practicing coward.
Unsurprisingly, the American Navy refused to support the production. Although the Americanization of Emily initially flopped at the box office,
Got lousy reviews.
it has since gained a loyal following. I know that Clint Eastwood especially loves this scene.
We crass Americans didn't introduce war into your little island. This war, Miss Barham, to which we Americans are so insensitive, is the result of 2,000 years of European greed, barbarism, superstition, and stupidity. Don't blame it on our Coca-Cola bottles.
Garner made countless other movies and starred in 6 seasons of the Rockford Files, including several feature-length spin-offs. He remained a force well into his later years, appearing in Space Cowboys alongside Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, and Donald Sutherland.
I'm receiving a word from on high.
And what is that word?
The word is, why the hell not?
With his classically handsome looks, effortless charm, and undeniable talent, Garner embodied a leading man who could effortlessly move between comedy, drama, and action. He had the matinee looks of a movie star from the golden age of Hollywood, and may have even had a more prolific screen career had he been born a couple of decades earlier.
It's possible, but I've been very happy with my career, what I did. I was very, early in television and very successful in television. And, I'm proud of that. You know, I didn't necessarily want to be in movies or television or whatever. I just wanted to work. And I have.
Whether portraying a wisecracking detective,
Car. Beep, beep.
a reluctant war hero, or a daring race car driver, Garner's performances were always genuine and magnetic. His legacy, cemented by the Rockford Files, The Great Escape, Grand Prix, and his daring role in Victor Victoria, remain timeless.
33 years ago, I won a Golden Globe for the most promising newcomer. I've been nominated something like 10 times. First one I got. I'm glad I proved you right. Thank you so much.
James Garner was, and always will be, a true Hollywood legend.
See you around.
Well, yes, ma'am.